KAPAMA, the souls of truth. Today, we're going to be discussing with the one and only Sleep Dank, aka Dante Johnson.
How you doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
We have our host, Mr. Lewis, and family. And we have our lovely goddess, Kelly Kitt, all the way from London. With no further ado, I'm going to turn the mic over to Mr. Lewis. Can you introduce our audience to what do we propose to do here before you turn it over to the lovely Kelly Kitt? And we get right into it with AKA Sleep Dank, Mr. Johnson.
How you doing? How you doing, sir? How you doing?
So today we are going to, just continue to uplift our people, uplift our minds, and, just help people with the transition and just connect, and all of the above.
And so this is a family show. You see the babies there. So with no further ado, it's all on you, Kelly Kitt.
Yes, welcome to the Souls of Truth, KAPAMA. Today we are going to be discussing as artists and also as Nubian beings wanting to elevate our people, and also, as Mr. Lewis said, just discover ourselves and also share so that other people can be connected, reconnected, connected, basically.
Rock connections.
That's true.
Yeah, reconnecting. A lot of reconnecting.
So, who has the first question for Dante? Who has the first question for Sleep Dank? Because me personally, I would like to know, before we get into the artistry and the music part of it, I would like to know his beginning. So is there any specific question that we need to know that you want to ask about his beginning or how this came about, Kelly?
Yes, I'd love to know. Just give us a brief outline on your journey before you found music, before you began your music journey. So without going into too much depth, what you can say, what you can share with us, just a brief outline. So anyone that's possibly on that same path could find their own path to the artistry, basically.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I fully understand what you're saying. I want to make it clear to everybody. Basically, she asking how I grew up before I caught the music industry. Well, basically, I grew up in a small corner of Vallejo. It has its own name because it used to be owned by some European people. So it's called the Country Club Crest. All Black people. So I basically grew up like, when my mom would go to work all day, I was basically raised in the 80s where all my family was on crack. And I was unfortunate. And, we don't like to say it, but I say poor. Like, yeah. And before that, but everything was good. I always had a brain on, I always read. My mother worked hard. She never was on crack, but she worked a lot of hours to keep a roof over our head. Even though I seen what I seen, I always had self-conscious of myself. You can always teach yourself, like, so even though I grew up around that, I was always a thinker and a wonderer. So basically, yeah, that's how I grew up. That was my element as a kid.
So you would say, okay, Mr. Lewis?
Oh no, go ahead.
So you would say that a lot of your journey, so your foundations come from something that from like blossoming out of something. Basically, you've blossomed into your artistry.
Yeah. I'm gonna go forward then backwards. Now that I've researched it and know who I am, I know why I came out of that, and I know why I was such of I taught my older brothers how to read. Like, I was very into, my mom had these National Geographic books. She was a Black Panther, so I was always into my Black studies, like not even like I didn't know nothing about race. I wasn't raised. Let me get this clear to everybody. I was not never raised on no race. I did not know what that English term meant.
He was an integration baby. When we integrated,
Yeah,
he was
I
born.
never was raised on that. But to answer your question, yeah, that's what I grew up on, just using my brain, reading the back of the alcoholic bottles. You know, the scientific words, just really training my brain, and had a fascination for maps and bridges. I don't know where that came from.
That's
Hey,
excellent.
It said our time ran out.
No, you no longer have a time limit, meaning that it continues past the time limit.
Right. I think that's what it said too. It said they were removing it.
Yeah.
Well,
So we've got the green
everything,
light basically to continue.
everything good? We good.
Yeah, everything good. Yeah, everything good.
Okay, but
Mr. Lewis.
in between all that though, I don't like my childhood. It was the typical of what was set up from the beginning of how Black people paid for not researching. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. So you was clued up. You was, because it seems that you already had a journey there. Despite
I
whatever
think it
you
was,
experienced, it feels like your calling was already there just by your need to read and your need to research and just to read the back of the bottles of alcohol. That alone, that just shows that foundation that was already in you and that was already ready to come out. And
yeah, and it was mixed with when I used to go to school. See, I went to school in the '80s, like the show Chris Rock, how that teacher talked to Chris Rock. That's how I used to get. And now that I remember, that lady used to talk to me like that. And my mom was not on no welfare. I used to be like listening, but I'd be like, lady, my mom's not on. She used to be like, oh, Dante, I know you couldn't make the field trip because of your mom's little situation. I'll be in my mind like, situation? Is it something I don't know? What are you guys doing with this English? Like, see how they do English, and we'll get to English later because I don't like English words. So yeah.
And I just want to say this. He pointed out at a good point for those in our listening audience that while we're in global white supremacy racism and institutions of racism, which are your schools, your jobs, because we don't control our own institutions, this is a good identifier to understand at this point in time in history, we should have our own institutions. Because in other people's institutions, they have a right to assume whatever they want about who we is and how we are. Back to the interview.
All right.
Mr. Lewis.
Yes, sir.
I see you over there thinking. You were raised. How do you relate to what Mr. Johnson, Mr. Dante, aka Sleep Day, has said already?
I mean, yeah, I was definitely raised in the same situation.
What year was you? What year was you coming up in this thing?
I was raised in 1990. Well, I was born in 1990. So I was through the 90s.
So I just want to say this real quick: 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. We're all represented here, y'all.
Yeah, I was born in the 80s.
I'm 80s.
Yeah, I was born in 81, so I grew up in the 80s as well.
Okay, so you just
but I was in France, so my childhood was completely different to you guys. I grew up in France around white people, so that's another conversation.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Lewis, back to you. How do you relate to what's going on so far, coming out of the 90s and hearing what he had to experience through integration and the assumptions?
Yeah, I feel like, I went through the same thing, just running around in the streets, just trying to figure out my way. My dad was here, he was in and out of the house. My mom was there for me. Both of my parents was there for me, but I just had that struggle with family. You know what I mean? Like just trying to connect myself with family. Because my mom was adopted. So she didn't really have. I didn't have no family on her side that I connected with, and then I wasn't really around my siblings on my dad's side like that. as I grew up and got older, because my mom and dad only had me together, you know. So my dad had other kids, and then my mom had other kids as well. So they would be all out doing their own thing with their family, you know, and or you know when my mom and dad split and stuff like that, you know, it would just be me and my mom sometimes, you know, me and my sisters, and then so yeah, I was always trying to. I've always been on that search for family and connecting with family.
Yeah,
I want a big family, you know. I got 5 little ones myself, so you know that's just always been in me since I was little. Just like, man, I want brothers and sisters. You know, I always wanted all of that. You know, so it's like I'm just creating that for myself.
Question for him, Jalon, when he's done. I have a question.
Yep. Go ahead.
This is a real good interview. People should pay attention because these are people from 2 different worlds, but from the same struggle. But we still have answers because I always wondered about like people in your situation because I'm from a close-knit family, and I do feel some people kind of feel towards people because they don't have this. That's a natural feeling, bro. Like, do you look? Have you found yourself like looking for love in other situations? I want people to hear this because these are 2 situations, you know. So, did you find yourself as friends looking for love in other places or that connection?
Like as far as like outside of my home?
Like basically, yeah, because of the, you know, of the situation at hand where maybe everybody's so spreaded and you know what I mean? I don't know how to really put it.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like it still affects me to this day. Like I don't be home that much, you know, like I'll be running around. Like I just grew up running around so much, like, you know what I mean? Just always going to my friend's house, just always gone, you know what I mean? And that kind of became a habit in my life, you know, even with my lady, you know, I'll be gone. Like, all right, I'm finna, you know, go kick it with the homies, you know what I mean? Like, cause that's all I had.
That makes sense. That makes sense, bro. Like that's the, you know, people go from the back of the book, bro. Everything stems from something.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It's crazy. The universe. I'm afraid that, bro. I just had to ask that because I'm so close knitted. And see, I wanted to say the opposite because me, I'm loved. I'm the baby. Not saying you ain't, but my family is tight knit. I'm the baby on both sides. Right. And I kind of lash out more at other people because I'm not looking for love. Does that make sense compared to what you would want to know from somebody that is tight knitted? You know what I mean, Keith? I mean, you know, Lewis. You basically know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'm glad to talk to you because I have friends like that, and I just wanted to really ask because I didn't really ask them. It's kind of personal, but I wanted to ask, bro. So yeah.
So here is the opportunity for us to identify that globally we have the same constraints. It's all about environmental impact in the family unit, which can produce different outcomes or similar outcomes. We have one person who had a family that was not knit close together, and there are different variables of identity. There's another person who had a close knit family, which produces identity, but yet they still felt the same environmental impact outside of the family.
We're something now. We're both like it. Man, this shit's crazy, bro. I swear, bro. We're doing okay. Look at his family. I have a family. I'm grown. Like bro, this is a trip, dog. We both had total different paths. Like,
yeah, 2 different spectrum.
It
shows it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you've experienced. You can still meet at the same point, basically.
Right.
Your background doesn't make you different. Your background doesn't separate. If anything, your differences bring you closer.
But I do want to say some things research-wise that, you know, it kind of, it's crazy when we're both DNA genetically connected, but the Europeans got you saying I'm African. Do you get what I mean? Not nothing towards you. I'm just getting deep here. And what I want to tell you, what they did to us over here is if y'all could get a more better understanding, see, they're in the way, and the Jews, Jewish, I'm not clowning Jews, I'm just saying, they're in the way of why we can't connect. We are DNA kinetically connected, though. We're no different. Like, now that I research, I don't do Westerner things no more. I'm not blind. I'm not blind to what they do no more. Like, so I just wanted to let you know, one person over here, yeah, we're just the same. Believe me.
I agree with you, because as well as us growing up, I've been African in France. I was ashamed. I'm not gonna lie, I was ashamed of being African, because my first name being Kobo, Kitambo, it's like my name says I'm African, you know what I mean? And I was ashamed because I used to gravitate more towards my West Indian friends who had more French names, who had more westernized names.
See what they do, Jalon? See that? See what the methods do?
Yeah. It's like that. So now I'm more aligned. I understand what you're saying in terms of all the same, basically. We're all the same. There's no difference between us. We've just been separated geographically, basically.
So, so go ahead, Jamal, you want to weigh in?
So, talking point. One thing that we realize about institutional racism, the institution was built by foreigners, basically Europeans. So, know what part of the world you come from, as long as you're Black, French, Portuguese, Spanish, or English. Once you enter the institutions as a Black person, you have to change your character to fit in, to feel comfortable. In your original form, the whole institution is designed to make you feel not a part of it. So now you have to mutate yourself, right, in order to place in that society. So this wake up is different. The wake up is that we morph back into our God self, which is a DNA and RNA factor. We have the God gene, and there's the God particle in the universe. That is the divine frequencies that we need to line up with. Back to the interview.
Yeah, and I wanted to say what you were speaking on, because I remember, like you said, you felt embarrassed, you know, and that's normal, because I felt embarrassed. I didn't want to be Black. I had the nappy hair, my clothes wasn't good. But look, let's check this out. Maybe we was embarrassed because now we're under their thing. They're not familiar with what our names and mean. We're not under English. I keep going back to English. Notice Black people in America can't really speak English. Do you wonder why? Would you have a clue why we really can't talk English? I want somebody to answer me. Anybody on the panel want to answer?
Is it because it's a spell that we don't want to emphasize the spell, so we break the words down? We cut the word, we break the words down. We automatically, like anything, people say Corona, we come out with Dorona.
And you know that's, and you know why? And you know why? Because you're right. And I'm gonna add on, I'm gonna put a crush to that. You know why? Because DNA genetically, we never spoke English.
I have a saying that I tell all the people that listen to me. We don't speak English, but we use English words. And as long as we can
you get what I mean, though. You kind of get what I mean, though. That's why.
As long as we can communicate with each other,
growing up, yeah.
So the main thing about speech is to identify who is the listener. And so Black people have created, no matter what language, we take their language and we use combinations of words to make sure that we understand it.
Yeah, and that's, you know, and it troubles me a little, because it just goes back to me just being mad I don't have my own language. Why is my name Dante? Do I look French? These are just questions I have for me on why I research. Like, I mean, Dante is a French name. I would be a Sunni from where I'm from. You see this? Like, I'm just saying, like, you feel me? I know I'm genetically connected to something before Christ. Like, we're not just out here for nothing. It's basically, if anybody want to answer me.
Say that again.
What is your take?
No, I was kind of like relating to what y'all was saying about, you know, like not really loving myself, you know, when I was younger, because I had that same that same problem, that same issue when I was growing up, you know, just same reason. Like I felt like I was too black. You know, people used to be picking on me of being hecka black, you know what I mean? And I just grew up just, you know, just not really liking my identity. And then I started growing more confident in myself and realizing with the information, you know, people do that because they know if I was more powerful with my thinking, then, and if I was more confident in myself, even though, you know, I wasn't ugly or nothing, you know, but I still felt that way, you know. But if I feel like the people who did that to me, they knew if I didn't think that way, I would be more, you know, I would move differently out here, you know. And then
that's true.
I wanted to say to Dante, like, uh, when did you start, you know, waking up to, you know, what you're on right now and making your transition, you know, in life and stuff like that?
Let me say this before you go.
Go ahead, Javon.
Now we're at the part where we realize that identity produces destiny. If you cannot identify who you are destined to be what somebody else wants you to. So now the wake up is real. We are identifying who we are so we can move forward.
Yeah, and to your question, I always been curious, man, and I used to be under the Jesus, the Santa Claus thing, man. I was one of them, man. So whoever look, Jesus not a bad thing, I want to tell y'all, dog. That's just not genetically who my people sent their prayers up to. So, you know, but to answer your question, I always been into it, but I ain't gonna lie, man. I had a brother named Methy Robinson that was, I call him a scholar, and he got me back into these research.
Directed in heaven.
Yeah, he's directed in heaven. I got back into those researches, man, 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. And I like to use my brain a lot. I'm a Capricorn. So from these 10 years up to now, bro, I'm in my 40s, bro. Out of all the schooling and American things, bro, I had to find myself by retraining myself, bro. I had to I know who I am. I know what I'm here for. Bro, I'm from the first DNA genetically ancestor people, bro. I feel it. I feel it, dog. The world cannot hold me right now. I'm the light. You feel me? But when I believed in Jesus and stuff, no disrespect to him, I sold drugs to my people. Now that I believe in my ancestors' DNA kinetically from a long time ago, bro, my brain, I'm the light, dog.
I feel you.
And I'm from the streets, dog. And that's all I want to just leave people with, bro. You know, so yeah.
I can relate to that too, because I felt like when I gave that up as well, like I became more confident in myself, like, you know, more confident in my abilities to know that if I do this, then this will happen. You know what I mean? Instead of just always just letting it be up to just, you know, Jesus or the cause of thinking like, you know, it's going to come to me because, you know, I'm a good person.
It's you, bro. And one thing you said, I'm proud of you, bro. It's a shame we all have to be ashamed of ourselves, bro. And then when we trying to learn ourselves, we get that English word racist thrown on. You see, these English words be combating what we already are. See, Nick Cannon got in trouble, but he was telling the truth, though. We are the lost Jews. They don't want to admit it. Why you think they never sent us back? Why you think we don't have a nationality? Where are the Black Jews? We are. I'm gonna just leave that right there, big dog. And I'm proud of you, dog. Don't be ever afraid of being melanated. Everybody have their own thing. And you got to keep in mind, dog, we are still 3/5 on the constitutional right. So never be ashamed to be melanated.
I would like to say, I would like to say, this will be a topic we'll get into in other shows. Jews, Moors, Africans, Nubians. What is the identity that's going to produce the destiny?
All
Okay.
good people. Let's get this clear though, bro, because we gotta stop doing this in America with this conspiracy. Well, look, when you're finding yourself out, we did not throw titles on other people. Like, we gotta stop this. We're trying to find ourselves. Everybody, I'm speaking to the people in the public, for everybody on this panel. We have all been lied to. We are trying to find ourselves. So you cannot throw no title on someone trying to find themselves. So I just want to leave that out there, just like that.
So before I turn it back over to them, what we find Dante did, he said, if you leave the words alone, the wake up is a frequency. It's in you. It's either in you, because we're global people. We're all over the planet. We're known by our afros. We're known by this melanin skin. And they put a label on us, but we feel the frequency. And if you're in this frequency, on part of this wake up, action speak louder than words. Before you repress, I just want you to know I really appreciate you coming here and sharing your truth, bro. If we have more brothers just like that, man, we'll all be able to see out the same eyes, because the truth changes the narrative.
Man. I don't even know what to say, man. I stopped arguing on Facebook about it. I'm teaching this to young people. Anybody my age. I am not. Hey, they lost so much of our history. It's just unbelievable that it happened.
And the cool part about
I'm not gonna argue over that. What I know no more.
In the coldest game that I ever seen, right? This is the coldest game I ever seen. Is that they can talk about the forefathers, and they can talk about the British Crown and the French. They all colonized Africa, and they all put us in slavery. But when we talk about the colonization, and when we talk about the slavery, we ain't supposed to say nothing. But if you mention the forefathers, you already talking about a slave owner. So how could the slave not talk about the slave owner and his evilness, and then you go speak about the slave owner like he's a great founding father who wrote the Constitution? And we the generation who gives a damn about that, because we got kids, and we trying to do better for our kids.
Yeah, it's deep, man. Always, the more I study, I have to find a way to put it, because I was putting it angry. My thing is, I suggest all races genetically check their background and their history. They will be surprised what kind of people they are. You feel me? I would suggest everyone do a research on who they originally are, because it's not about race, bro. It's not about race at the end of the day, bro. It's like, I just say research. You feel me? What you want to research. That's all I tell people out there.
And I have to respect that. Mr. Lewis, let's get into the music portion.
Yeah. When you got that question, I'll do that too. My bad.
Okay, so Sleep Dank. How is everything going for you right now with your music and just life in general for just right now? How are things?
Right now things are actually great, better than when I look back, I would say right now I'm doing way better. I'm more focused. I'm making better music. Things are just going along the way, when you dream something, you plan it, and your karma is good. So everything is aligning right now for me music-wise. I just dropped a new single out. It's worldwide on all iTunes, featuring another stand-up guy from Vallejo named E40. So, and my two nephews. So the video is up on YouTube.
Freak, I'm super cold. You will get this smoke. You will get this smoke. You will get the long or the short. Smoke a nigga like a Newport. Bay niggas ball full court. I'ma get straight to the point. You will get smoked like a joint. Bury your ballin', boy. Gas break dip with the toy. 500 sick with it, boy. You will get. I got some partners, they some peas, they.
I dropped it February 1st. It's on iTunes, Spotify, all the Google Play platforms. And I'm just getting back in the ring because I jumped out a minute for 3 years for my newborn baby in 2019. So I was able to get out the game for a minute and just kind of go through life, figure some things out about me, But yeah, to answer your question, everything is on track right now, music wise. And I have a lot of music up online and, you know, everywhere.
So you just dropped a new project, or you said
Just a single right now, leading up to a 12-song LP or EP, whatever you call it. The music changed. I'm from the city where I had big sound scans. I don't know if y'all know what a scan is. You know, but now it's iTunes now, and CDs, that is in the past. But yeah, so I have an up-to-date iTunes platform album out with a video up, and it's on all platforms of iTunes, you know what I'm saying? Google Play, Spotify, Amazon, you know, wherever you get your digital.
okay, yeah. So that's how is that transition for you right now? Like you said, what did you say about some sound?
Transition from compact disc to iTunes. I was in the middle of that, so that's something that it was. I ain't gonna lie, you know, old stubborn man that don't want to get out his ways. When iTunes came and all that stuff came, I was like, I hate that, all that. But it's actually easier.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To answer your question in a good way, with a compact disc, see, I go through a nationwide distributor that distributes your music to all 50 states on its release day, right? But here's the deal. I got to make like 20 songs for that compact disc. Whereas these days, all you need is one iTunes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I didn't like this new industry, but now I love it because of the game that I got from back in the day. This is like easier. They just make the industry easier for me.
Definitely. I feel the same way
Let
too.
me say this right quick. So now we are at the portion where we realize, in order to be relevant and to keep up, you have to modernize, you have to go with the technology, because this is the format that has been spread around the world. You as an individual or as a team can be successful as long as you stay relevant with the relevant tools.
Right. And yeah, I feel like, you know, with that relevancy, you know, Instagram and TikTok and, you know, Facebook and stuff like that, you know, just how I feel like Instagram really made it simple. Like you said, it made it easy, especially with videos, because like,
Yeah, my Instagram on fire right now, bro.
you put up a minute video, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to make long videos no more. You can put up like a minute video, like TikTok, 15 seconds. Like, you can go viral with a 15-second video. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you don't
You
have
know,
to
don't get it twisted. I have a lot of more purity than a lot of people that do it easy, but it's an easier game. Do you get what I'm saying? Compared to when I told you when I was in the CD game, I used to have to go make 20 songs and meet dates before I dropped the album. So that's a lot of tension. I used to argue with people because I would be going through a lot of stress putting that together. Whereas right now, all you need is one single. I actually keep up with the times, because I'm gonna drop one single, which is out. Then I'm gonna drop another one, and then I'm gonna drop the album. You feel me? Like you gotta spoon feed these people these days. You feel me?
Yeah. It's a strategy, basically. You got to let them know that you're making your music, get them to hear a bit, have the opportunity to just pick the one song or the other song, and then drop the album. Then it just slides in a bit easier, which I definitely
It's
like
like
that.
it's like I'm not trying to be greedy. It's like, no, I'm gonna give them what I want. No, because I do research. You gotta research whatever you in. And I've been in this business for a while, and I do music business 101. I drop how they drop. I promote the times when they say promote. I'm music 101, and I don't break that code, and it always worked for me. It's a formula, you know, so.
I was gonna say something about that formula too, because like I know a lot of underground artists who came up with a different formula. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's this dude named Toby. Toby Nwigwe. And you know, he's an artist who did things very simple, like from his videos. Like his videos were super simple, and he dropped music like daily. You know what I mean? Like weekly, like all the time dropping music. And the same with Larry June. If you know who Larry June is from the Bay Area, San Francisco.
Yes, I do. I just got turned on to Larry June. This girl turned me on. But it's too. He's very talented.
Yeah, and he
Larry June.
He was dropping EPs like every month. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was dropping so much music, and it's like I felt like that made people pay attention more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was dropping a lot of videos every week. He got a video out. You know what I mean? And
he got big numbers too. He has big. It's called it's called consistency, man. And as the people that you're talking about, that we have to catch their attention, bro. They see that. They see the consistency. They see the you got people's attention span is very, very short these days. So, you know, we have to really study as an artist our angles every day. I'm like Michael Jackson, dog. I either got songs or beats in my head, or I'm finding a way to reinvent myself. I'm barely sleep. You feel what I'm saying? It's that serious.
Yeah, I can relate to that, because for me it was the opposite. I would release music before, and then I would just get gigs, loads of gigs. So it got to a level where I stopped releasing music. I'll just get gigs, performances. And then when I get to these performances, people will be like, "Oh, I love your song. Is it out?" And I'll be like, "Oh, it's just not out yet." And then I'll get that pressure, and I'll be like, "Oh, I need to go record it." And then, but the thing with me is that because I used to get gigs so easily, I became so lazy with making music. So I'll just get I'll just get paid that way. But then obviously with what you're saying in the digital world, you need to have that content out there on a regular basis. That needs to be there. So now if you kind of hear me, you'll go and look for my music. I've only got like 2 singles out and lots of features.
You wanna, you know what Kelly made a good point too about the music industry too. You gotta always be ready. You heard she say she didn't have one thing. One thing I learned in my career, each year I made a mistake, I fixed it that year. You have to be on dang point in the music business, because mistake will set you back maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You have to have everything ready in the music business to succeed. You feel me? And then you can go to money, you know, and all that other stuff, you know. So yeah. Real strenuous business though. I wouldn't wish this on no one, because I've been up and down and had big times. I'm comfortable because I'm still relevant in a young time. So I'm
it's a relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
but
abusive, sometimes it's toxic. You have to keep nourishing that
one thing about I wanted to tell you, Lewis, one thing, bro, I dedicated myself to this, and I didn't work for 10 years one time in my life because I dedicated myself to rap. I didn't want to go rob a bank, drugs. People try to do too many things. See, where I got paid back because I sacrificed for the music business. Now that I'm this age, I get like people pay me for features, bro, on $1,500 a feature. For some reason, that sacrifice got me kind of feel what I'm saying? You put the sacrifice to what you believe in.
Yes, sir.
So I have a question. And this is me coming from an era when hip hop became popular. It left New York and it transitioned to California. And our hip hop style is still rap, still hip hop. There's relatively difference. This being the home of the Black Panthers and a beginning of different types of gangs and street culture. And so we had used it more like a newspaper, telling what was actually going on. And with the evolution of rap or hip hop, what I want to ask you, Dante, because I have watched a lot of artists start off young with a certain style, and that, woo, my style go, and I'm like this. And some people forget to be versatile. We see Mac Dre, we see E40, they're very versatile. They didn't have just one style. And so therefore multiple different populations can listen to different types of songs by the different flows.
Yeah,
So what I want to ask you, how important it is for an artist or for yourself, right, to understand how you started off and then your delivery. You know, how important it is for a person to watch their delivery.
Yeah, everybody, this is a good question because everybody got to listen up. When you finally transcend to finding yourself, it's like, it's crazy because when you're first rapping, you're just rapping, you're saying anything, you know what I'm saying, that come to your that comes to mind, you know. And the transition is crazy because you go through so many sounding like, oh, I want to sound like this hot dude this year. And then next year, you're sounding like this dude. This is like maybe 5 years early into your career, you're trying to be so many people that you forgot to be yourself. And then what message was crazy, because all that other stuff you were sounding like, now you want to be yourself. You lose all that fan base, and now you got to get a fan base. We go through a lot, bro. It's like a girl with different, like, do you get what I mean? We're very insecure, dog. I'm telling you, artists are the weirdest people on earth, dog. But the transition of finding yourself, dog, is beautiful because you already had it in you the whole time. You know what I mean? I could say I found myself. I say, man, shit, I've been rapping and dropped a lot of big things, but I say find myself musically, I say it 2 years ago. I know who I am. I like me. I watched everything I've done. Okay, so I studied you. I know what you do now. I like me now. Like, you feel me? I finally like the artist that I've become. So it's a challenge within self. Because then I have to be Dante too for my kids. Like, rappers are weird, dog. It's like Jekyll and Hyde, dog.
Yeah, that's why a lot of the artistry that we're hearing today, we're hearing a lot about of alter egos and having more than one personality, although that's not what we're trying to become. But you find that you can't be your normal self in your artistry because you don't communicate in the same way. You don't have the same messages in your personal life that you have in your artistry. I mean, I've just only discovered yourself, Sleep Dank, and also only just discovered Mr. Lewis. And
Yeah,
I'm only discovering you now. So I'm getting to know the new you know, and I've had to go back and have a listen to some of the stuff that you've done before to kind of, you know, to kind of get an understanding, which I will have to do now. Because now that you've mentioned it, I'd have to go just to kind of get an idea. But yeah, what you're saying is quite important because your artistry changes. You continue, as you find yourself, you have to rebrand yourself. And when you rebrand yourself, you have to get new fan base. So that's my question to Mr. Lewis. Your artistry is who you are today, who you've always been, or is that something that you found recently?
Yeah, I would say a little bit of both. It's you know, like I said, I did go through that same rebranding process. But I've always been on the positive side of music. You know, I've always been putting out I would say a positive message, even when I was cussing in my music, you know, and even when I was, you know, just doing things more loosely, I would say, you know.
True.
I still was on the positive side though, you know what I mean? Like you could still hear in my music that I had a message in it, you know what I mean? But yeah, ever since, you know, I changed my diet really, you know, and I stopped eating meat, and I learned about Dr. Sebi like 4 years ago, and how that really that really affected me, and that made me change even more, you know. So definitely.
So let me come in with the question, and this is a very, very important question in the hip hop world and in real life. Um, Too Short and E40 told us that E40 and Too Short, right, is not Tasha and that's not Earl Stevenson. Those are characters. And then other people say, excuse my language, I'm gonna use the N-word, this nigga don't rap about what he's talking about to other artists. So how important, this is a question for all three of you, how important it is for your lifestyle to be your rap character or to have your rap character separated from your real lifestyle?
You want to go first, Lewis?
Yeah, I can go first. I think it's important. You know, I think it's important that I just feel like depending on what type of artist you are, you know what I mean, what you're trying to get across. But as far as our culture goes and our people goes, you know what I mean, and leading our minds in the right direction, I think it's important that, you know, yeah, that we keep it in a more empowering sound. But as far as my bad, I kind of
No. You kind of lose track. But you're saying the right thing though. You know, it's about like changing. What? Say the question again, Jelon, one more time, because you was on track though.
Okay, so we have a dual dynamic in the hip hop, especially in the Black community. People are questioned
right.
as a rapper that you don't live that life or you're not about that life. But E40 and Too Short, as well as some other people, tell you that Earl Stevenson and E40 are, one's a character and the other one is a family man. Too Short just really had a baby. He said Tall Shaw is a family man and Too Short is a persona that he created coming up out the street. And so what I'm trying to say, how important is it for the rapper and the person to be the same people on wax, or to separate the character from the person? Because we have Dante and we have
I call it
Mr. Lewis is conscious and he lives that life.
He was on track before we got off track though, so he was on track. But like I said, it's a double-edged sword, because the answer to your question, Earl used to live that life. Taj Shaw really used to live that life in Oakland. So to answer that, you know, I was thinking something on myself to answer something like that. I wanted to tell people, because my genre is gangster. I'm from a bad neighborhood. We talk trash. I'm gonna be honest. I have a lot of positive songs on my album. You know, we talk trash, but there are people looking up to us too. With that, I kind of always use this I don't care type of thing. Like it's messed up in a way. I mean, but I try to be me though. But what I want to tell people though, and people that's listening, like whether it's Lewis, Miss Kelly, or Jelon, when I rap, I'm rapping about people that's hating on me or some business I can't tell you that might have happened on the streets. Now, if you're listening, you should make and learn from what I'm saying. They can't always just blame us, because I'm not violent, but my violent music comes from people that has denied me, done something wrong to me, or basically tried to end me, if I'm putting that in the correct way.
So I would say it's not violent music, it's the expression. You're expressing your anger through your music. Not so much your anger, but you're expressing your experience. So you're expressing your experience.
Because we have feelings too. And a lot of my albums in anger came from me being broke and being told I couldn't do this, or being shunned this way, and you want to be your best. A lot of my songs come from people denying me or hating me or shunning me or stoning me personally. So I don't I'm not gonna never go out and kill a dude, you know, but if I have said it or any kind of way, it's a lash out towards people that really hate me because I want to be something other than be in the streets.
Well, one thing I can say.
Your words. Hold on. So your words are your swords, basically. Your words is basically your weapon against those that have done what they've done. And people that listen to you, they shouldn't listen to you in a way to act upon your words, but they should listen to you in a way to just take heed, to express yourself with your words instead of expressing yourself with the weapons that you can basically. So
like they always
it's
say,
a form of enlightenment.
They always say, ask why.
Ask why.
Everywhere you go, never assume. Ask you, me. Ask why. Everybody.
Why are you saying this? Why are your words coming out this way? Why? Because when you ask why, they will get understanding, and then it can actually relate to you. Even if they come from a different background, they can relate. Yeah, I've experienced that as well. I felt this way. Oh, I get you. I understand where you're coming from, and then it creates a relatable. People can relate.
Yeah, instead of stereotyping a person, like, I mean, we're gonna go back to this question. You know, like me, I don't do that no more, but I'm still kind of tied to my neighborhood. I'm trying to get out, so I can't just go around acting like I'm not tied though either. Even though I'm in. And that question between Todd and Too Short, Sleep, Dank, and Dank. Sleep, Dank, the transition that Dante is liking right now. So you get what I mean?
It's a balance between.
It's the ways of the scale, and it's human. God gave us these senses, man. It's so. Oh, that's why I wanted to tell Lewis too. When you making your music, you said direction now is dope too. I want to add on, bro. We have been given these senses, dog. Let all of them loose, bro. We are not perfect. You mad one day, bro, make a mad song. You got to get that shit off your chest, dog, and it'll make you a better artist.
Yeah, I definitely do. You know, I definitely do. Like I would say a song that I just put out is called In My Zone. And I would say that's kind of like a mad song. You know what I mean? Like, not a mad, it's kind of like just my mad song, kind of. But I just try to not express it in a way that's like just.
I'm sorry, cause I like this cause I'm a bold person, so I like talking to you. You kind of shy a little bit, huh, dog? Like just a little. I don't know. It's like our upbringing, cause I'm a bold person. I'm not mean. Like you kind of know what I mean. Like I think if you can get past that, dog, you gotta. Do you feel like you're gonna sin if you?
Nah.
Let me say this.
I'm sorry, Louis. I just think I see a lot in you, dog. You're a bright young black man, dog. I want you to be more bolder if you can just take that. You probably A-okay.
Definitely.
But just dog. It's okay to be mean, nice. It's okay, big dog.
I listen to In My Zone, and had I not spoken to Mr. Lewis today, I kind of got the same kind of what you're trying to explain, the anger, but in the kind of like, you want to express something, you're telling them. To me, I thought it was kind of a soft side of the gangster rap, you know what I'm trying to say? But then I had to listen to it again to hear the words and to understand that, no, he's expressing something in a way where it's not aggressive, but it's affirming. I'm putting my foot down. I'm in my zone. I can't remember the lyrics, but I can relate to what you're saying. I'll say Sleep, Dank. I can relate to what you're saying, but at the same time.
Sorry.
Yeah, I get Mr. Lewis, what you're doing. I get what you're doing. You're affirming yourself, but you're keeping that. You're
being you got a what they call that, you got a top on it, but that's okay, brother, because I know your words. See, words are still deadlier than being tough, which the topic we're still on. Look, bro, like I said, Sage the Gemini is not a gangster rapper, but he's the best writer, a songwriter to me, because he's not even tough, but it's what you're saying, bro. words is spells, bro. You could be, I could, like, your demeanor is nice in person, but I'm quite sure your songs, you know, they have the aggressive I know they do.
Let me,
But
let
it's
me say
about
this.
the
It's a big
words.
song.
Let me say
Big
this right
song.
quick. Let me say this right quick. I heard all three of you, right? And so one thing I can say about Mr. Lewis, he's not aggressive, nor is he passive. He's assertive.
Assertive.
That's
Yeah.
better than anything.
In the
That's
way
better than anything.
he's going, and his message is consistent. But
Mm-hmm.
the personality on camera becomes a little bit more reserved. So I understand what you're saying. In my neighborhood, where Dank come from, we had to sing, we had to be bold. You know, we was out
It's
there.
not a bad thing.
No, we was out there, but that's coming from environmental impact. Because it's listening to sleep dank music, I can tell you this. Sleep dank music has three parts. It has, you have to be in the crest to understand some songs, because you have the environmental impact, the crest politics, the family, the neighborhood. Then you have the Bay Area, California part of his music. You have to understand the hyphy music. Then you have to have the international part that, okay, here's the hyphy and here's the neighborhood politics in the Bay Area. But I also got to produce music for the world to like if I'm going to go somewhere. So his music has three levels to it. And you really have to understand the evolution of sleep dank music.
Yeah.
And,
It's called the whole book factor. But as you could ask Kelly right now, man, as a woman, dog. Yeah, assertive, determined, cadence. Yeah, you got qualities. Kel will tell you. He got it, Kel. He got it. He got it. You know, because I know you young, man. I know you young, man, and I pray y'all every day, bro. Serious. I'm kinetically connected to y'all. Y'all don't know.
and so this is come to part after I say something about Kelly music. I have a question to ask all three of y'all. Now, Kelly music is bold, it's social, is subtle. It has a certain class and elegance to it, right? But it has a spirit behind it, you know, and it moves you. So she learns, she knows music, and she knows the institutional part of music also. And then she has that raw uncut that you're talking about, the DNA, you being kinetically connected. So she has both sides. She knows the scales. She knows the scales, and also she knows what she's trying to convey. So kicking back as King Ajalanda, and Subu.
Hey y'all, I just want to tell y'all, I'm on 3%, y'all. So I want to try to connect with all y'all, because I know I'll charge, but Jelon, because you did this, I want to do some music with you. I won't charge, and I want to do some music with you. I won't charge. I like this energy, and I want us to keep up and fucking see each other shine.
This is the one question I have for y'all before we get on. Can I get you guys, right? Because Low African Mind is a nonprofit. Can I get you guys to come together and collab? I don't know how you can put it together though, to make a intro song, a theme song to the Low African Mind. So every time we do something, we got that theme music before we
a jingle.
Show the jingle.
A jingle.
Okay, hey, let's do it like this. Lewis, if you make beats, let's let Kelly take the lead, and me and you follow Kelly. Lewis, all right. Whoever gonna get the beat, we're gonna follow you, Kelly. And because I can arrange I'm gangster, but I can do any feeling way.
Yeah.
I'm very good with words. I'm very good with definitions and words. So we'll let Kelly lead, and me and you, we follow her, and we'll make a song for Jelon, if it's okay.
Yeah. I'm down. I mean, I don't make beats. I shoot videos and I put videos together, but I do have.
He just did one with
Do you sing? Do you make music? You sing, Lewis?
Oh yeah. I do music. Yeah.
Okay, because what I was saying, Jelon wanted the song. Reason why I say let Kelly take the lead, because we'll try to masculate the song. I don't want that, so I'd rather let Kelly give it more meaning, and then I can follow up under what Kelly's talking about. You feel me?
I feel like that's a good idea. I definitely feel like that's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I try not to fall under the R&B female
No, do
narrative.
you,
Like
do
I'm
you.
very,
I like the chameleon. Do you? It
yeah.
it gives me an exercise in the brain. So do you? I'm not.
So here's the homework. Everybody take the time out to listen to each other so y'all can get a feel for each other.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
So what I'm gonna do, hey, because I'm on 1%, y'all. I'm gonna have to go contact my brother Jalon and get y'all informations and y'all social sites, and we can.
I follow you on Instagram already.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, hit me in my inbox so I know that it's you, Lewis. I'll get the contact from you. I'm gonna shut down. I love y'all, man. Hey, look, I do not want my European law no more. No disrespect. So I don't do what they do. My DNA will not allow me. So I love y'all.
Love, it's love. Love you
Love
too.
you back. We love you back. It's all love, man. It's all love. Blessings.
Nice to meet you.
So that was Slim Dank here on Low African Minds. KAPAMA. Kapa.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna end it with a last. You want to do the minute flow of just getting out whatever it is that we got to say that we trying to get to the audience today. So yeah, you want to start, Kelly?
Yeah. What do I want to say? I just want I want people to know that it's time. My message, my main message being love prize, to love yourself and realize that you are the prize, because we've been taught that we were not. We've been taught that we were secondary to many things. And also one of my primary message is to heal. It's healing. It's the time now to heal. It's the time now to focus on bettering ourselves individually so we can come better together as a unity. We are all unique, but we all have our own journeys and our own battles and our own situations that we have to overcome within ourselves first before we can come together as a people, which is why I find it difficult for us to come together. But yeah, that's maybe my main message to end this is create unity through the healing of self, basically. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, and I could agree with that, and I feel like my message is around this, just and always just self-sufficiency. That's another thing that I've been pushing, and just rebuilding the culture. That's a brand that I'm pushing as well, and that just starts with us rebuilding our minds, and then also with the little ones, making sure that our little ones can grow up and be in a better position than we are, putting ourselves in a better position and the next generation. And I feel like that's definitely coming through self-sufficiency, us learning how to grow our food, build houses, and just do what we need to do for ourselves and meet our needs, and not think that we got to continue to go to, the next person for anything, you know what I mean? Any of those institutions, I homeschool my little ones as well. It's just more of that community-based, mindset that we got to get into. So, we're going to keep pushing this empowerment and keep it going.
Yep. Great message.
And
yeah, Subu.
All right. So, I love y'all. So one thing I want to say, our guests that come on the show are free to speak their truth. But here on Low African Minds, we are dedicated to worldwide African unity, and there's different aspects to it. And like we see Mr. Lewis, he had his children. We see Kelly Kitt, she has her fashion, she has her ability to write books. Mr. Lewis, he does the video, help with the choreography. So we have different aspects, but here on Low African Mind, it's about worldwide African unity, moving forward, we all we got. This is not a show about integration, but this is a show for us to show who we are, why, when, and how, and where we're going.